اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. Before proceeding from where we left yesterday, I should like to revert again to the famous covenant of prophets, that is the verse which is famous by the name of Massih-e-maud. I mentioned earlier while discussing various aspects of this verse that it covers everything required vis-a-vis our attitude to those who claim to be prophets. If we encounter anyone who has claimed to be a prophet, then what should be our behavior and conduct towards him? I stated earlier, as I just mentioned, that this verse covers everything about it. But there is one thing which is dominant by being absent. Although this verse speaks of full cooperation to those who are Allah's prophets, who fully support the previous teachings and the previous prophets, and who have been, whose advent has been prophesied in the previous books, and they come as fulfillment of those prophecies. About them it is said categorically that you have come into covenant with me, that you would certainly support them and would not oppose them in any way. But the last part, would not oppose them, is missing. Just support. The words mentioned are that you would positively support them with your full might. Now, nothing has been mentioned as to those who are not Allah's prophets, who have not been sent by Him, who are just attributing things to Allah falsely, as they are called false prophets. So what about them? What is the attitude which the Holy Quran expects us to adopt vis-a-vis those people whom after examining we consider to be false? Now this verse leaves that out. Is that an omission? Or is this subject left on purpose? That is the first issue to be resolved. I believe that this is left out on purpose, because we have nothing to do with that then. The moment we come to the conclusion that a claimant to prophethood is false, then we are not expected to do anything about him. It's no longer our concern. So because it is no longer our concern, so the Holy Quran stops short at that and does not mention it any further. I mean, does not consider it worthy of mention. Only if the prophets are proved to be true, then it is our duty to support. That's enough. And that is all that is there to emphasize. If they are false, then well, it's up to them. Nothing to do with us. That is the sort of attitude which has been adopted in this verse by being completely silent about that possibility. If I am right in inferring this from this, then obviously there should be other verses of the Holy Quran to support my view. And there are so many, not one, who exactly elaborate on this subject as in the way which I am describing. Among other verses, I have chosen one to illustrate this point. It says, أَمْ يَقُولُونَ افْتَرَاهُ قُلْ إِنِ افْتَرَيْتُهُ فَلَا تَمْلِكُونَ لِي مِنَ اللَّهِ شَيْئًا قُلْ هو أعلم بما تفيدون فيه كفى به شهيدا بيني وبينكم وهو الغفور الرحيم. Do they say he has forged it? Say, if I have forged it, you cannot avail me aught against Allah. He knows best what mischievous talk you indulge in. Sufficient is he for a witness between me and you, and he is the most forgiving, the merciful. Now the first part is very significant in this regard. Do they say he has forged it? That is the negative attitude which one can adopt towards the claimant of the Prophet. He believes he has forged it. So what is the response to of the Prophet who has been alleged to be a forger? The Holy Quran tells us that Allah instructed Ahmad sallallahu alaihi wasallam to adopt this attitude, that if I have forged, then the possibility of your supporting me against Allah is to be ruled out. Now that is also a very interesting way of dealing with this subject. It does not say, then if you oppose me, I will be destroyed. Opposition at the hands of those who consider somebody to be a false claimant is not a possibility mentioned here. What is mentioned here is that if I am a false man, then there is a possibility of your supporting me. Because human beings always oppose the true prophets, not the false ones. If the prophets are false, then there is a real possibility of your or some sections among you supporting me. Now this is a very interesting implication of this verse, which should be studied in further detail. The fact is that false claimants, whoever have so far been proved to be false in history, have always been supported by some faction of human beings before they made the claim. Either they made the claim being supported by their tribe, or by some other faction, or by some cliques of some sort. No prophet or no one in history has ever made a claim, being the same person, to be a prophet, while he was not a prophet, without any human support. Now, when you look back at the history of those who made false claims to prophethood during the history of Islam, this statement will be supported in every case. Right from the time of Mutanabbi or Aswadanasi down to the time of the modern days, this is a statement which will be proved right in every case, applicable to every claimant of prophethood during the past 1400 years or 1300 years, we say. Either those people were proved to be mad, or they had previously, before making the claim, a positive support of some sort from among human beings. None of them walked out alone by himself without any material support whatsoever and made a claim and then won converts and then later on gained greater power. So this is by implication the reconstruction of all that happens to false prophets. When it says, it's the most interesting way of describing things. If I am a false claimant, then your support will not be of avail to me.